Dear students, today we will be talking about Kepler's laws of planetary motion. So I think all of you are well versed with these laws, at least on a superficial level, at an elementary level in your school or in your higher secondary. But today we will try to deal with this concept in a more detailed manner. All of you might be knowing that Kepler had given three laws to describe the planetary motion, that is, the motion of the planets around the sun. So, the first law was that the planets revolve around the sun in an ellipse, and the sun is placed at one of the foci of the ellipse. That is the statement of the first law. So, how do you define an ellipse? We say that ellipse is actually a set of points in a plane such that the distance of each point from two given points is constant. For example, if I choose 2 points and there is another point, the distance of this point from this and this point, that is the sum of the distances, is a constant. And then it draws a certain figure in the plane, this point. So whether this point is here or this object is here or it is here, the sum of its distances from these 2 points, this and this is constant. That means sum of this and this distance, sum of this and this distance of this object from these 2 points is constant. Then the kind of figure that it draws in the plane is called an ellipse. And these 2 points with respect to which we have measured the distance of this moving point, these are called as foci. That is the plural of focus. So this is focus 1 and this is focus 2. So if we imagine that sun is placed at one of the foci of the ellipse, then the planets draw an ellipse while they revolve around the sun. So this is the first law, right? Now the axis that joins these two focal points is called the major axis of the ellipse, and the axis that is perpendicular to this major axis and divides it into two parts is called as minor axis. The half of this major axis is obviously called as semi-major axis, and the half of the minor axis is called as semi-minor axis. The semi-major axis is always denoted by small a, that is this distance is small a, and the semi-minor axis is denoted by small b. So this is what the first law is all about, right? Now we'll move to second law. Second law states that the radius vector, what is radius vector? Radius vector is the line that joins the focal point or the sun to the planet. Suppose this is the planet. This is the radius vector. So the second law states that the radius vector sweeps equal areas in equal intervals of time. In an alternative way, we can say that aerial velocity is constant. Aerial velocity is constant. Now, to understand that, let us draw the diagram again. So, here we have the ellipse. This is the planet which is moving around the sun in an ellipse, right? What is the second law state? That this radius vector is sweeping equal areas in equal intervals of time. That is between any two positions and any two subsequent positions, it draws equal area provided the time is same. So suppose after certain time its position is here. Whatever area is drawn by the radius vector during a certain time, remember time is fixed, this area will be same between any two other points in the same time duration from this focal point. So in all, we want to say that dA by dt will be a constant. Now suppose this angle is d theta, small angle, d theta, and the area swept by the radius vector is dA. Now how do we define this dA? This dA is obviously, if we assume this to be a triangle, right angle triangle, then its area is half of base. What is base? R. And what is perpendicular? It is this length of the arc, right? If we have chosen two close points on the ellipse, then this is most likely a straight line, right? So this is half of base into altitude. Altitude is the length of this arc, and we know that length of arc is radius into angle, that is r d theta. So dA is half of r square d theta. Aerial velocity, which we are interested in basically, is dA by dt. VA, aerial velocity, that is half of r square d theta by dt, and we know that is equal to half of r square theta dot. Now what do we know about angular momentum J or L? We know it is given by I omega, where I is the moment of inertia. For I can write mr square. For omega, I can also write theta dot, because omega is the angular velocity. Angular velocity is also represented by theta dot. Therefore, J by m is equal to r square theta dot. But we know when the force involved is a central force, and I have already given you a brief introduction of central forces in the previous video. That is the forces whose magnitude depends mainly on the distance between the two bodies, and it is directed towards the center along this radial line. So the kind of force that is involved in the planetary motion, in this gravitational motion, is a central force, a conservative force. And we know that in case of conservative forces, this angular momentum is constant. We have already done that. So I can give you a quick recapitulation of that. We know that torque is equal to R cross F. You know that. If no external torque acts on a system, right, we know that angular momentum will be conserved. So firstly, if the force is central, we can write that torque is, this R can be written as R cap. This is a central force dependent on distance only. So we can write it in this manner, right? So since this product involves the cross product of two like vectors, so this will be 0. So when the no external torque is acting on the system, and since torque is given by dJ by dt, so this will be 0. That means J will be a constant, right? Once J is constant, J by m is also constant, because m is the mass of the planet, that is already constant. So we can substitute that value here. That is aerial velocity is equal to half of, for r square theta dot, I can write J by m. So in short, dA by dt, that is aerial velocity, is equal to J by 2m, and that is a constant. So I hope that gives you a brief idea, a clear idea of Kepler's first and second law of planetary motion. In the subsequent video, we will be talking about the Kepler's third law of planetary motion. But before that, you need to do certain preliminary details that we shall do in the subsequent video. So that's all.